Salt Spring Island in the Canadian Gulf Islands has some of the best sea kayaking in the Pacific Northwest. This is the story of my adventure. So I'm launching off Salt Spring Island here. That is Southey Point behind me. I'm heading out to Wallace Island, a beautiful state park just to the northeast of Salt Spring Island. And conditions today are light breeze, about 2 knots, very gentle seas. Temperature is about 65, approaching 70. Actually really pleasant with the light breeze. In the first part of my trip, I paddled from Southey Point Beach, past Jackscrew and Secretary Islands to Cheevers Point Campground at the north end of Wallace Island. Nice and sheltered here on the south end of Jackscrew Island. We're in the lee of the current here. Let's look at that amazing clarity of water. I think you get some really nice currents sweeping this clear. Some real off-grid living here, you know. Solar panel, water catchment. It looks like he must have a battery. He's even got a dish for satellite TV. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the Secretary Islands here at the South Point, and I am going to shoot over. I'll hit that white sort of, I don't know if that's a buoy. I'm going to go over to that buoy and then I'm going to cut right. The very northern end of Wallace Island there is called Cheevers Point. After that beautiful paddle out, I was ready to hike around a bit and explore the campground and northern point of Wallace Island. The Cheevers Point campground has 9 tent pad sites nestled between 2 rocky ridges with a convenient rocky beach for landing and launching kayaks. Each campsite has a picnic table and food cache, and there's a vault toilet. But no fires are permitted on the island. Camping stoves are allowed though. This is a beautiful campsite for kayakers exploring the Gulf Islands. In the States we call this Chuckanut sandstone. If you know the Chuckanut sort of drive and Chuckanut Island, you see a lot of it there, but the sort of pockmarked erosion is from the wind and the salt. Hi. Alright, let's head to the very northern point of Wallace Island there. So they do have trails that go all the way down Wallace Island, but I'm not going to do that today. I don't have the proper hiking gear. I am going to jump back in the kayak and explore the marine zone on the western side of Wallace Island. So the camping fee on the island was $5 per person per night. Pretty straightforward. And first come, first serve. Not reservable. In part 3 of my journey, I paddle southeast and explore down the west side of Wallace Island from Cheevers Point to Conover Cove, a distance of 2 miles or 3.3 kilometers. Fortunately, I'm going with the current, so I'm just going to scoot down the side of Wallace Island here. This side looks a lot more interesting than the other side. Morning. I'm just paddling down the side of Wallace. I'm going to explore the Conover Bay area.
Yeah, we're going to hike there later.
Oh, cool. So there's trails that go all the way down the island, eh?
Apparently, I haven't done it yet. It's about an hour and a half, I understand, there and back.
Looks beautiful. Enjoy. Have fun. It's really nice to decompress and recharge the soul in just pure nature. And I love the camaraderie of kayakers. You know, kayakers are so friendly, so helpful with information, and you know, just going to campgrounds, you know, when you're paddling, you meet people at the launch, at the pullout, and I've never met an unfriendly kayaker. Everybody is really helpful, and there's just a lot of camaraderie. I love that. A lot of floatplanes here in the Salt Spring Island area. They take off out of Ganges Harbour, go all over the place, to the other islands, to Nanaimo, to Vancouver even.
The west side of Wallace Island has all these interesting small rocky islets, many of them with sea life, like these Pacific Harbour seals sunning themselves. It's also quite shallow here, and with the clear water it feels like you're just gliding over the rocks.
So if you look at the kayaks motion against the rocks here, you're maintaining at least a fast walking pace, if not a jogging pace, at a pretty relaxed, you know, paddle. Beautiful big madrone trees. And this, I believe, is the Conover Cove area. And there's a campground there, I think mostly on the grassy area, just ahead to my left. Looks like there's a nice beach on the right. I think we'll head over and check out the campground area. This is definitely the nicest beach to come up on, but tide is a little bit low right now. Nice campsite area, and open. Wow, look at all this driftwood stuck on the cabin.
The tradition here is to carve driftwood signs with the name of your boat and hang it on the shelter.
Okay, interesting area in here. Beautiful carvings. Wow. Okay, this definitely looks like more of a campsite for boaters that have moored at that dock over there. There are a couple of kayakers, but the Sheaver's Cove on the north end looks like a much better place for kayak camping. But this place used to be a homestead for one of the first settlers back after the gold rush, and for a while it was a resort. Some of those structures are cabins from the resort. That resort is not functioning anymore. Now it's just a provincial marine park.
Time to check out that small beach on the south end of Conover Cove to see if it might be a good spot for a swim and a picnic lunch.
Interesting crab in the shallows, eh? Another crab. So I am actually having second thoughts about this beach. I think this might be a little bit soft. This mud. I could get stuck. See if I can find a better place to pull in and have a picnic. This one is a bit of a mud flat.
Part 5 takes me from Conover Cove to the southeast point of Wallace Island, where there's a beautiful beach for a swim and lunch stop, with a panoramic view of the Trincomalee Channel and islands to the southeast.
I'm now making my way down the west side of Wallace Island towards the very southern point of the island, where I'm hoping to find a good place to pull up, maybe have a swim, have a picnic lunch, just have a rest stop. And then I'm going to cross over to Salt Spring, to Hudson Point boat ramp, where I'll pull out and meet Karen. Nice slack currents right now. No tidal rips coming off these rocks, which is really good. It's pretty shallow right here. It looks like there might be a little bay on the left there, just past the rocks. Nice sandy area. This is perfect.
It was great to have found a nice little sheltered beach at the southeast end of Wallace Island to land on, and now I'm ready for a swim, lunch, and to relax and soak up some sun.
So this is the very southern point of Wallace Island. Just look at that beautiful rock erosion formation. Isn't that amazing? It's like a honeycomb. Salt and wind erosion. Chuckanut sandstone is what we know it as over in Washington State. A couple more kayakers coming down. It's been a beautiful day. Very light wind now, probably only 1 knot. But really pretty here on Wallace Island. I'm right at the south end. Well, there's a marker at that little island over there that's probably technically part of Wallace, but I'm not going out there. Just climbing up a little bit at the end of Wallace Island here to get a view. Rocks are a little steep. It's probably a better place to get out. It's manageable. Interesting little, I want to say some kind of ornament, like a Buddha in there. Yeah, and this trail's going all the way up the island, probably go all the way up to Shivers Cove at the top where I first set foot foot on Wallace Island.
The water was beautiful, cool and refreshing.
Orange.
After a quick lunch, soaking up some sun, and enjoying the spectacular view, it was time for the next leg of my adventure, paddling across the 1 mile or 1.6 kilometer channel to Hudson Point on Salt Spring Island, where I'm going to meet Karen for my pullout.
Energy for the return paddle. So the south point of Wallace Island was a beautiful place for a pull-up on the beach and a swim, exploring around a little bit, a picnic. And now it's time to shoot across to Salt Spring Island. No noticeable currents, very light wind, maybe 1 knot, just enough to keep things cool. And I'm going to head pretty much straight across here to Hudson Point, where Karen is waiting for me. Should be a quick 10-minute paddle or so. This is not a channel for large boats, like the ferries don't come through here. But smaller boats for sure, so got to keep a lookout in this channel. I'm now about halfway across the channel between Wallace Island and Salt Spring Island. Straight ahead of me is the Hudson Point pullout. Over on my right you can see the north end of Salt Spring Island. A little bit further to my right you've got Jackscrew Island, the Secretary Islands, and then the north point of Wallace Island, and that's where the Sheevers Point campground was. If you look at this buoy here, there's a very slight current going to my left. Probably less than 1 knot. Hi. Thanks for coming out.
While Karen was waiting for me, another car that drove onto the beach got stuck and had to be pulled off with a tow truck at a cost of $700. Fortunately, we brought a kayak cart, which was perfect to pull the kayak up onto the road, so we didn't have to drive onto the beach. Some of our other favorite things to do on Salt Spring Island include Russel Provincial Park, with beautiful walks along the seashore and views of the islands to the southeast, and it's a great place to spot sea life, including whales. Mount Maxwell is great for a 4-wheel drive and hike around the top with views that'll blow you away. The Treehouse Cafe in Ganges Harbour was definitely the best place for dinner and live music. Moby's pub at the head of Ganges Harbour was definitely our favourite hangout, with a beautiful deck, with views of the harbour, and great food, drinks, and fun times with family and friends. Ciderworks had the best apple cider on Salt Spring Island, and a deck with beautiful views of Ganges Harbour and the Three Sisters Islands, another favourite kayaking trip.
So what we recommend is you drink from left to right. So starting with the Firkin. Firkin is a light and easy cider.
Gary Oaks Estate Winery was our favourite winery on the island, and was right near Fulford Harbor, another one of our favourite kayaking trips out to Russel Island. There were just so many great places to visit on the island. Here's Hastings House Country House Hotel and us enjoying happy hour overlooking Ganges Harbour. Mohina Creek Campground was great and had nice shaded campsites, electric power to charge cameras and smartphones, and Wi-Fi, and was right close to Ganges Harbour with lots of fun things to do.
Salt Spring Island is just a mecca for kayaking. We have done such beautiful kayak trips already, just day trips off Salt Spring. We went out of Ganges Harbour, off Churchill Beach, along the islands there. There's a whole chain of islands inside the harbour. There's Powder Island, Deadman Islands, the Three Sisters, and we stopped on one of the beautiful Sisters Islands, actually the third sister, which has a beautiful beach on it called Chocolate Beach, which I'm not sure why they named it Chocolate Beach, because it's actually brilliant white. It's made of crushed shells, but that was our first paddle, which was just fantastic. I'll put a link below. I'm waiting for this boat to pass. So the other paddles we did off Salt Spring, we went Fulford Harbor off Isabella Point Road. We went to Russel Island, another beautiful sea island paddling experience. Sheltered because you're in Fulford Harbor the whole day. Ganges was sheltered as well. I'll put a link to the Fulford Harbor Russel Island paddle as well. And the third one we did was out of Long Harbour. We launched at the public boat launch right next to the Royal Victoria Yacht Club. And we paddled all around Long Harbour, right up to the head of the harbour, and then all the way down. Oh, look at that big fried egg jellyfish. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, we'd love your support if you want to give us a thumbs up, and subscribe and you'll be notified as we release new adventures. We're kayaking all the time and we have a huge backlog of adventures to publish over the coming months. So happy kayaking, be safe out there. Bye for now. Okay, this is Hudson Point boat launch. This is how not to tow your boat out of the water with your lawnmower.